Jasper Engines and Transmissions has expanded at its current plant. We'll have more on that. Plus, Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner joins me for tonight's edition of Monday with the Mayor, and Christine Golden talks summer reading tonight on Informed. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin with Indiana conservation officers conducting investigations into 2 area deaths on the water linked to alcohol use. The body of 43-year-old Anthony Catt was recovered from Patoka Lake just before 9 o'clock Saturday evening after he had gone missing earlier in the day. Now, conservation officers were originally called to the Goose Island area of the lake shortly after 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. A caller reported that Catt dove into the water out of a pontoon boat, hit his head on the side of the boat while diving, and did not resurface. Catt's body was found about 200 feet from shore in water that was nearly 20 feet deep. Conservation officers say Catt was not wearing a life jacket at the time of the accident. Orange County EMA, Patoka Lake Reservoir staff, IU Health Ambulance Service, and the Orange County Coroner's Office also assisted. Conservation officers are also investigating a second boating accident from the weekend, this one from along the Ohio River in southern Spencer County that claimed the life of a Wark County man. Officers say 19-year-old Garrett Ward of Boonville was with a group of friends boating in an area along the river known as the French Islands late yesterday afternoon. They say the group had beached on the lower end of the South Island before they decided to leave just before 6 o'clock Central Time. As the driver of the boat, 22-year-old Christopher Payne, also of Boonville, began to back the boat away from the island, Ward got tangled up in the propeller of the boat motor, causing severe injuries. Ward was taken to the beach, and the Spencer County Sheriff's Office got the call just after 5:55 Central Time yesterday. Ward was pronounced dead at the scene by the Daviess County, Kentucky Coroner's Office. After further investigation, Payne was found to be intoxicated. He was arrested and lodged in the Spencer County Jail. He's now facing a Class C felony for boating while intoxicated, causing death. Conservation officers say this investigation is still ongoing, and once the investigation is complete, the case will be turned over to the Spencer County Prosecutor's Office for further review, and additional charges could be filed against Payne. The Spencer County Sheriff's Office, Spencer County EMA Water Rescue, Rockport EMS, the Daviess County, Kentucky Sheriff's Office, the Daviess County, Kentucky Coroner's Office, and the Spencer County Coroner's Office all assisted Indiana conservation officers. In other news this evening, a Pike County man was taken into custody early yesterday morning following a fight at JR's Bar in Jasper. Just after 3 a.m., Jasper police were called to JR's on the reported fight. When they arrived, police found that 21-year-old Eric Diedrich of Petersburg had been drinking heavily and was fighting with some people outside of the bar. Diedrich was taken into custody and lodged in the Dubois County Security Center. He faces a Class B misdemeanor for public intoxication. Police say their investigation is still ongoing and further charges could be brought against Diedrich later on. Indiana State Police and Dubois County Sheriff's deputies also assisted. A Jasper man was taken into custody after he attempted to steal more than $90 worth of items from the Northside Walmart. Just before 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, Jasper police were called to the Walmart after store personnel detained a man for shoplifting. Further investigation found that 41-year-old Monty Beatty had attempted to steal a Memorex pocket radio and radar detector. The items were valued at just over $94 according to police. Beatty was lodged in the Dubois County Security Center. He is facing a Class D felony for theft. Jasper Engines and Transmissions has expanded at one of its current facilities. The company has added on to its gas engine remanufacturing division at its current plant in Jasper. A fifth remanufacturing line, known as a pod, was added to the division after the company's differential department moved to a building along Division Road. The new pod had been in the works since late last year when demand began to exceed the maximum production abilities within the gas engine division. Mike Faw is the advertising manager for Jasper Engines. He says the additional pod will go a long way towards meeting that increased demand.
Well, that's the biggest thing. The pod system, one thing is tremendously efficient, so it allows us to hold costs, and it also has expanded our availability, which is what the customers demand. And we can all wait on certain things, but it's hard to wait on an engine. when you need it. They need to fill their customer demands as well for remanufactured engines.
The new pod began operating earlier this month after being in development for several months. Foss says the biggest increase in demand has been for the Triton V8 and V10 engines that the gas engine division produces. Now, the additional pod is not necessarily the end of expansions within the gas division. Foss says the impending move of the company's transmissions division will allow for more expansion to occur.
When that transmission division, when that move is complete, and all this will take several months, but when that move is complete, the area that was once used by the transmission division in this facility will be used to expand additional pods and remanufacturing areas for both the gas engine and diesel engine divisions.
The transmissions division will be relocated to the former Kimball property along Power Drive, about half a mile southwest of the current facility. That expansion could create up to 235 new jobs by 2017, 100 of which would be in Du Bois County. The total investment is expected to be $6.9 million in all. For more information on Jasper Engines and Transmissions, you can call 800-827-7455. July 1st is a big day of change for insurance in Indiana, and one local state representative is warning folks to be prepared. District 63 State Representative Mark Messmer says the changes may directly impact folks in our viewing area. Now, there are two specific changes that Messmer is warning folks about. The major change that's highlighted comes from Senate Enrolled Act 220. This act is aimed at preventing unfair or deceptive practices on the part of insurance providers. Messmer says in the event that a policyholder passes away, the insurance company would have to take steps to pay the beneficiary of the policy. If a beneficiary could not be found, the benefits would roll over to the state under the unclaimed property law. Messmer says SEA 220 tightens up current regulations on these policies.
There's requirements for the insurance companies now to try to notify them, but they're pretty loose on if they don't make a connection, they can basically after 3 years let the policy go dormant, and then eventually turn that property over to the Attorney General's office for the unclaimed property section of the state code.
Messmer says the bill also requires insurance companies to match the death master files of the Social Security Administration to a list of the company's policyholders twice annually. The second of the changes to come about is how folks can get their insurance documents. Messmer says House Enrolled Act 1058 stipulates that Hoosiers will now have the option of getting notices or documents from their insurance company via email. Previously, state law had stipulated that those documents had to be delivered to folks via either first class or certified mail. In the end, Messmer says both of the new acts bring greater efficiency to the insurance industry while helping Hoosiers.
These are all good policies to help Hoosiers get their property that's theirs quicker, and not let a deceptive company hang on to that property longer than they need to.
Any questions about these or other laws that are going into effect this year can be directed to Messmer's office. That number is 317-232-9620. Finally this evening, this year's edition of the Ferdinand HiMatt Fest is now in the books. The event was held this past Friday and Saturday at Ferdinand's 18th Street Park. Musical performances included the Linda Smith Band and the Green Room Rockers on Friday night, along with headlining act the Kentucky Headhunters on Saturday evening. Some of the notable events included the Backyard Barbecue Contest. This year's overall champion was Team 30 Pack, followed by the Flying Burritos and Hickory Chips. Team 30 Pack took home top honors in the beef division, while Domino Grillers won the chicken division, Hickory Chips won the pork division, and the Flying Burritos were the ribs division champion. Team 30 Pack also took home the People's Choice Award. The HiMatt Fest also marked the second stop for the WBDC Cornhole Tournament of Champions Tour. Team Bounty Hunters picked up their second win in as many events on the tour. They defeated Team Grandpa's in the finals. Team Grandpa's advances to the championship round at the Huntingburg Herbst Fest, since Bounty Hunters already made it to the championship by winning last week. Du Bois County Boys won the tournament's amateur division by defeating Team Queens Court, a team which included HiMatt Fest Queen Shelby Clem. All right, coming up after the break, Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner joins me for Monday with the Mayor, plus your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform with Christine Golden. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.